Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Dimitri, and I would like to welcome you to my channel, A Bit of Everything, where we are talking about, thinking about, and being about a bit of everything. So let's go ahead and get started with today's video. We're going to be talking about this battle, this fight, this war that's going to be going on between Ben Askren and Jake Paul. Now, I really don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never kept up with these dudes like that. More so Jake Paul than Ben Askren. I've never heard of Ben Askren all this time, and I hear that he's like an Olympian and he's won championships, and I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. So, definitely this is going to be an interesting event. It's going to be a huge event. I mean, we got a bunch of celebrities meeting all in one place as a result of this fight. I mean, we got people, really just invested in this event, all because of Jake Paul. I mean, that's bizarre. I mean, the fact that this dude can really bring in a crowd and bring in so much, inflow of revenue and all that kind of stuff and viewers, that's pretty crazy. And then, we have other, celebrities meeting up. We have artists that are going to be performing and stuff, and that's going to bring even more people into this event. And I mean, like, this is going to be top notch. It's going to be top dollar for a lot of these people that's participating in the event. So, as far as who I think is going to win, though, what I'm hoping. Okay, so let me be honest here. I know that Ben Askren is like a UFC guy, or like kind of like a takedown wrestling kind of dude. And Jake Paul is boxing. So obviously your boy Ben Askren is coming into Jake Paul's world. As far as I know, I have been made aware that Jake Paul won against like two opponents who aren't good at boxing. They're kind of like, new to the game or whatever. I really don't know, and I don't really care. But considering that he won against two, and then you have Askren, who's won against many and has even won championships, and he's a whole fucking Olympian. I mean, it's almost like, who do you think is the more reasonable person to win? Now, even though Jake Paul is bringing in all these viewers and all this money as a result of his participation, I don't think that really speaks for if he's going to win or not, because he also has to be good. He has to be able to beat this guy. Now, there is this underlying, because I'm a younger sibling, so I understand what it's like, to live in your older sibling's shadows, where people are expecting you to be like them, to act like them, and stuff like that. That was more so in my younger years, until I obviously began finding myself and branching off from that. So I do identify with that when it comes to Jake Paul, but I just don't know, as far as his skill level, if he would be able to actually beat a real life professional fighter. So all in all, what we understand is that UFC and boxing are two separate things, and they require two separate strategies and techniques and all that kind of stuff. I don't know much about it, but I know just from an outside standpoint looking in, obviously it requires separate standards when it comes to both sports. So with Ben Askren coming into Jake's world, I mean, this can literally go any direction, and I have no idea. But like I said, there's this underlying part of me that's like, yo, I really don't like Jake Paul like that, man. Like, this dude is a douchebag. He's, filming all these videos, and he's just an idiot. But at the same time, I identify with him with, not wanting to live in his brother's shadow, Logan Paul. And I identify with that, like, on so many levels, with just being a younger sibling myself. And there is this underlying part of me that's like, yo, I'm kind of low-key rooting for this kid. I'm hoping that he can actually use this as an opportunity to grow, because there's been many YouTubers, they comment on this kid all the freaking time. He's 24 years old. He and I are the same age. And, he's had his pretty tough and rough history. So I believe that with him going into this new field and into this new opportunity, I believe that this is what's going to pave a better road for him of actually maturing and creating, better content for the people who follow him, because, he's serious about what he's doing. And I believe that this is going to change the game for Jake Paul, especially if he can beat this guy. If he beats Ben Askren, this dude who's actually, a real life fighter. He's been at this for years. He's a professional. If he manages to beat this guy, do you know how much respect is going to be put on this dude's name? Not only is he an all-around celebrity, bringing people in, bringing in revenue, and has created a name for himself outside of boxing and outside of fighting. Man, if he manages to infiltrate celebrity into boxing and into the fighting world, guys, y'all don't know what this is going to do to the world of boxing all around. He's going to bring in more celebrities who are more than likely going to start attempting this. And, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't know. Then it may end up being like, okay, anyone feels like that they can fight and it's only for certain people, But honestly, I feel like that he's bringing in something good into the world of boxing as far as, bringing it to the mainstream, bringing it out, But at the same rate, he has to win. If this dude loses, I'm sure he's going to still be just as popular as he was, before the fight. But if he loses, that's going to be quite devastating. But one thing I love about it is that, he's driven, he's determined. But I'm really hoping that he's not pulling a Logan Paul where, you talk all this shit, you talk all this smack. You think just because you're a couple of inches taller than someone, then that means you have the upper hand. Nah, man, I've watched literal videos, real life videos of small dudes like myself. I'm 5'5", small dudes my size taking down these big, Goliaths, these giants. So, I mean, your size, man, Jake, it don't matter to a dude that actually knows what he's doing. He knows how to take down a dude your size. I guarantee you. But that's in UFC. Boxing is a whole different thing. You're just, you're not even able to take anyone down. You gotta purely take them down with your fists. No elbows, no locking, nothing like that. You gotta take them down. And so that's my concern when it comes to Ben Askren, is that he's stepping into a different arena. It's like the same thing. Even though you're a runner, doesn't mean that everyone can do long distance. Like if you're a sprinter, come race me in the 5K. Come race me if you're a sprinter, and watch how long how quick you're gonna be. You're gonna be winded and all that kind of stuff. So it requires completely different techniques. So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I'm low key, very very low key rooting for Jake Paul. Like, and earlier on I was like, nah, these kids, these Generation Z, millennial, whatever the fuck you want to call yourselves, you just think the moment you're able to beat somebody, then all of a sudden you're a professional. It's kind of like, if you're having a sophisticated argument on the internet and you read one article, then all of a sudden you're an expert in the subject. Like, no, there are people who have spent their lives like studying this shit. So, you're not suddenly an expert just because you read a few words in an article and can copy and paste that shit. No, you got to spend some time actually investing into this and giving your time and your all into it, like the actual experts and professionals do. So I feel like that Jake Paul is kind of like displaying that, but with fighting, that, he feels like just because he won a couple of fights, then, he's good enough to go against McGregor. And I just think that's my only fear, is that he's pulling a Logan Paul where he's like, just overly confident in himself and not being realistic with what he's choosing to do. But you know what? I'm rooting for you, Jake Paul. You better fucking win. At first I wasn't rooting for you, but I'm reconsidering with going for you, and it'll be kind of cool if you win. So after watching the press type deal, I mean, I love the trash talk. That's what wins me over a lot of times, is when people can trash talk. I wish I could trash talk like that. But we're going to see how this turns out. I'll give my review on that maybe sometime in the future when the fight actually happens. But I'm out of here. Peace.